The nice thing about level 3 students is that they can understand the directions that we give them, but you still want to reduce the incidental language. So for example, if I'm explaining a grammar concept, I will usually just rely on what's built into the lesson already, and then just have them read the example that's on the slide. That way I'm not using too much incidental language as I'm going through that grammar concept. And then as I'm trying to show them something, maybe identify the S at the end of the verbs or the conjugation that we're focusing on for that lesson, then I might just give them a quick explanation, but it's very, very simple and to the point and succinct. And then as they are going through the activities, a lot of these are independent work, so you can just have them get started by asking them to read or to match, and that's kind of how you reduce the incidental language. They can understand much easier, but it will help them focus on the target vocab and the target sentences if you just keep it simple. In level 3, I feel like I can speak a little bit faster than what I would need to do for an early level 2 student. So they can, like I said, they can understand what we're saying, but I try to keep my speed still slower than I would for a native speaker, and still pretty slow, because what I'm usually saying in class is I'm usually telling them a new word, or I am modeling a new sentence. So either way, usually the things that I'm saying are things that are new, and so you need to go slower through that. There are a lot of speaking skills that get practiced in level 3, and they are a little bit more complicated. They have to use adverbs of frequency. These are longer sentences. So if you slow down while you are speaking during those times, they can remember it and recall it. And then when it's time for them to use the sentence themselves, they have a much easier time with it. But if you reduce the language, then you can get away with speaking a little bit faster, as long as you keep the language very simple. Well, at this point now, they should be able to speak about 70%, while a teacher is speaking about 30%. So with level 2 students, it's a lot of repetition. They have to repeat after the teacher. So that's why the teacher has to do more 50-50. In level 3, they can read a lot on their own. Maybe not every part of the lesson, but a lot of it. Also, you can ask them a question and they can give you a full response. So that will allow the talk time to be different. So I think just focusing on what you're asking, make sure that you're asking a question that is going to get them talking. You can avoid going overboard with the teacher talk time.
Okay, so when speaking to your students in level 3, my goal and our goal is 70% student output. That is a lot of student output, which means there's only 30% there for the teacher to speak. There's a shift in level 3 where the students begin to understand some incidental language, but we have to be careful with this because, that still doesn't give us a lot of time to speak, but they'll understand some incidental language. I find that you need to slow down for your level 3 students, not as slowly as in level 2, but they need to hear you clearly. They need to hear those words enunciated, properly, so that they can hear what you're saying and then answer back with the correct pronunciation as well. As far as vocabulary, I try to stick to what is there, on the slides, focus what I am saying and using that vocabulary. And then when I'm extending for them, I'm trying to go one step beyond what they understand, one step beyond that slide. As far as sentence length, these students can handle more than your level 1 and level 2 students. Again, one step above what is there, not too far above. So, I might speak to them with more complex sentence, but I'm certainly not going to be getting into, the type of language that I use with much higher level students.
All right, Frank, in this one, you have to tell me a sentence with each word. Ready? Tell me a sentence.
I must do my homework when I must play.
I must do my homework. Good. Very good. Okay, so Frank, must is word number 1. What is word number 2?
Our friends want to play with me.
Awesome.